Okay, if we could, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. I'd like to read the following. This agenda item provides an opportunity for citizens to address the board or committee on any matter that is not posted on the agenda. Anyone wishing to address the board or committee should complete a citizen comments registration form and submit it to the board liaison or board chair prior to the start of the meeting. There's a 3-minute time limit for each citizen to speak with a reasonable limitation on speakers on one topic or item, with a maximum of 15 total minutes on the same topic item. Anyone wishing to speak should be courteous and cordial. The board or committee is not permitted to take action on any subject raised by a speaker during citizen comments. However, the chair may have the item placed on a future agenda for action, refer the item to the city administration for further study or action, briefly state existing city policy, or provide a brief statement or a factual information in response to the inquiry. I don't see any citizens here for citizen comments, so we'll go ahead and continue moving on with our meeting. Okay, item number C1, agenda item C1 is to consider approval of minutes for the November 21st, 2024 meeting and take appropriate action. Does anybody have any comments to the minutes? I just found one little typo, which I've already shared with Jennifer. Anybody?
What's the typo?
Typo is on page number 5 at the very top. Jennifer Nelson Smith commented that she attended Day of the Day. She meant to say Day of the Dead.
Oh,
Just one little typo. That's all I got. Does anybody have any other changes you need to make? The minutes? If there's no changes, then we have a motion to accept the minutes as they are. Can I have a second?
Second.
Minutes are approved. Can I go back and just ask a question about the minutes? So is that possible? Can I just have a question? Because in the minutes, it talked about, Jessica Alvarado commented that in the future, city council wants to form a committee to audit the parks and recreation events to see if the community wants them to continue. And I was just wondering if this is not the appropriate time to talk about this, but I was just wondering, can we understand a little bit more about that? Who's going to do the audit? I'd just like to understand a little bit more about that.
I'm not sure, but let me get with Robert and Jessica and they'll get back to you.
Okay, I was just curious. I'm not saying it's a good or bad idea. It's interesting. Just curious who's going to be on this committee and how are they going to go about
I
it?
think it was discussed at council and it was going to be part of the multicultural task force.
Yeah, all good questions. So if Jessica, you could take an action, I'd just like to learn more about
needs
that.
to come up in future agenda items.
Yes.
Okay, all
So
right.
we can bring that up there.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, then if we could, let's go ahead and go to C2. Yep.
Did you got it? We made the motion.
Oh, sorry. All those in favor of approving the minutes as is? Aye. Sorry. Thank you for keeping on track there. Anything else on C1? Moving on to C2, receive an update on the recreation division. Receive the recreation center and athletics fourth quarter report.
Okay, so I'm going to stepping in for Jessica today. She had another board meeting to go to, but I'm going to give the rec division update really quickly for 2025 events, and then Paul and I will get into our report for our end of the year. So I'm going to read out our 2025 events. If you're writing them down, let me know and I can go slower. There's quite a bit, long list of ones. So, all right, January 15th, we'll have the Math Science Fire and Ice at the Manatee Library, Lunar Year Celebration. I'm sorry, January 29th, Lunar Year Celebration at the Manatee Library. February 1st, our Daddy-Daughter Dance here at the Rec Center. March 19th, Kathy's Critter Petting Zoo at the Manatee Library. March 28th is one of the social series for the Branch Connection. March 29th is the Gateway to the Globe, which is our community events team. April 26th is our Fish and Fun by our community events team. May 2nd is our Cinco de Dago event here at the Rec Center and Bark Park. June 4th is Wonderful Wednesday Performers at Manatee Library. June 11th is Wonderful Wednesday Performers, Manatee Library. June 18th, Wonderful Wednesday Performers, Manatee Library. June 25th, Wonderful Wednesday Performers, Manatee Library. July 2nd, Wonderful Wednesday Performers, Manatee Library. July 3rd, our Independence Day celebration by our community events team. July 9th, Wonderful Wednesday performers, Nancy Library. July 11th will be the second social series for the Branch Connection. July 16th, July 23rd, and July 30th, the Wonderful Wednesday performers from Mansfield Library. August 8th will be our Summer Sunshine Carnival here at the Rec Center. September 12th is the third social series event by the Branch Connection. September 19th will be the Special Olympics tournament put on by the Parks and Rec Department. October 4th, Spooky Pooch by the Aquatic Center and Barneywood Bar Park. October 25th will be the Halloween event put on by the city events team. Community events, I'm sorry. November 8th, Arbor Day by Community Events. November 11th, Veterans Day by Branch Connection. December 5th, Lee's Naughty Dog by the Rec Center and Bar Park. December 6th will be the Christmas Carnival by Community Events. December 10th will be Santa and Cookies, Mansfield Library. December 13th, Hanks and Pajamas by the Rec Center. And December 17th, Santa and Friends on the Move by the Aquatic Center.
I have a copy of that. I was gonna say, could you email that? to all of us?
Yes, I will, you know.
I stopped trying to type.
Yes. Do you want me to say anything again? I know I went fast.
No, it's all recorded, but if I had a copy, then I could just.
We'll get you.
Cool.
And Ashley, I want to apologize for calling you Jessica. I'm sorry.
It's-
Sorry about that. Apologize.
So those are all our events for 2025. Jessica also wanted me to let you know that Perla, the Economic Development and Tourism Director, is presenting at council on January 21st regarding venue 1842 and the direction of what they want that building to be for. We'll know then if the historical park or venue 1842 will be an event location for the upcoming year. So,
What's council day?
I'm sorry,
Council day?
January 21st.
What does that mean?
So they're trying to see what direction venue 1842 will be, either community centered or revenue driven, I believe. I'll get, if you'd like, I'll have Jessica or Robert reach out to the Globe and
That's shocking.
any questions on this?
It's just lots of comments.
All right, so we'll move on. I'll move on to our end of the year report. Holiday. Alrighty, so I should introduce myself earlier. Sorry, Ashley McNeil, Recreation Manager. So I will go ahead and start the end of the year report for Paul and I. Our mission is the mission of the Farmers Branch Parks and Recreation Department to provide citizens, regardless of age, sex, race, interest, or financial consideration, with a year-round functional park system that promotes active, passive, educational, and recreational experiences through an effective delivery system. And forgive me, Paul was put first in here, so let me click through his. Oh, click too far. Sorry. Okay, so under recreation, what we fall under is our recreation center, of course, our athletic field operations, and the Barneywood Park. Our 2023-2024 goals was customer service, engage, empower, and expand, and balancing the books. So our first one was to diversify and extend our concession stand offerings year-round to provide an enhanced, consistent experience for all, which we did do that out of our Bark Park concessions. We offered sister sips with their year-round at different times of day, just depending on what were high traffic areas for them, but they were there, our concessionaire year-round for the Bark Park. And then develop and launch a youth program app. So if you look to your right there, the Summer Sunshine Program app, we implemented that this past summer and then really heavily used it these past holiday praise programs. So it just allows us to communicate with parents that have kiddos in the program directly. It allows to send them messages and let them know they can register through the app. They can get photos of their kiddos, and it just goes to those kids or those parents that are involved in that program for that session. If that makes sense. So it just allows a little bit more communication with our families. And then balancing the book. Our goal this past year was to get 100% cost recovery for the year. I'm happy to say that we met that with 100% cost recovery.
106.
103. Sorry. And then here's some showcase of excellence. So we had 103% cost recovery for this last fiscal year. We had 11% increase in revenue itself, 33% revenue increase for our memberships. And then summer sunshine participant increase this last summer. And then we also added Phillips Factory Junior Basketball. We added that as a new youth program. We had Phillips Factory Basketball. We expanded that age to a little bit younger crowd, and it seems to be hitting all the noise we hear. It's probably those kiddos doing it right now. And then you can see that some of our summer sunshine are our bounce house day in the gym. We kind of had to pivot this summer from one of our field trips. So we threw together a bounce house day. We had a great company come out. And that we had like 6 blow ups. And then on that top right one, our leaders, I think it was Steve Week that week, and they decided to make a banner with their kiddos. And then our teen leadership program is down on the right, so right there. And here are our memorable moments for this past year. We have our Easter Bunny Ranks house calls that is fully run by our staff. They love to do it. And then Pegasus and Pajamas down to the left. Up at the top in the middle is my full-time team. So myself, Celeste, our rec analyst, Kate, our new rec supervisor, and Eliana, my assistant manager. Down, we have one of our kids' night out events. It was a glow party that year, or this past year. And then to your right, this is Adam. He was our youth program leader this past summer. And this was him with his trophy winning Employee of the Month for June, I believe. And he was the first part-timer to ever get it. So we had a good summer. Good year. And then collaborating, building success together. So down at the left, you see account. I believe that was at Toya Park. Up at the top, there's a few that are from our National Night Out event. That's Jessica driving our new bus. Up at the left, there's the bus in the middle. The best picture in the middle was we had 3 different departments on the bus that day, Parks and Rec. And I'm not sure the other 2, but there was 2 other departments that day. And then all of us down at the right, that was also National Night Out. Those were most of us that were on the bus. In the middle, you have Issa with Chief Vladimir and Paul's team was actually there too. Paul and his team was there at their open house that we partnered with them. And then our Parks guys, I believe that was Halloween. They helped us right before Halloween set up for our outdoor event that we had here at the rec. Looking ahead to 2025, so here are some goals for 2025 to maintain our 100% cost recovery, at least 100%. Create partnerships with Farmers Branch schools, and then offer unique programs for all ages. So we're hoping to get some better partnerships with the school district and then offer some just different programs. Try to target that youth age still. Yes, ma'am.
I know Chapel Hill Prep is actually DISD. Do you do anything with them?
With DISD, no.
Well, that particular school is in Farmers Branch, but it is DISD.
We've been tasked to do Farmers Branch only, like,
So
yes, but I,
see Carlton Farmers Branch schools.
but I'm not opposed to it if that's the direction we want to go in.
Ashley, can we go back one slide?
Yes.
Thank you. So down the right-hand corner, so help me understand. So the team went around all around the Farmers Branch for the Nation Nights Out?
National Night. So that's where everyone kind of had block parties. And so we did a big party bus because we got our new summer sunshine bus in. And so we all got on a bus and literally we're going all around the city to the different block parties.
Okay, that's great. I didn't realize that was one. Yeah, good. There was one in my neighborhood that I didn't get a chance to go because I had a conflict, but that's good. I know that.
Yeah, Jessica did great in those tight neighborhoods. Not that easy to drive.
She was
Fire marshal,
Just be nice.
all the bus, but I
Yeah.
make the rounds and do a lot of everything. So it's
Good.
great that, the rec center people are involved.
Yeah, it was the rec, the aquatic center staff, the Branch Connection. We all just hopped on a bus and did it together. So
That's great.
a lot of our stuff overlaps, so we try to be a team.
Thank you.
Yes. And that is the end for me. Do you have any other questions? I will send it off.
is ready. We need to be ready or we ready to go.
Oh, I'm
It's the
sorry,
same
I'm so
thing.
sorry, I'm sorry.
Same item.
No,
I think it's the same.
I'm sorry, he's correct. C3, okay, thank you. So forgive me. So so you've gone with a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
And then this is all just backup now. Because in the past, you guys can walk us through this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we did just the year-end report. If you don't have questions, I'm sorry. I can definitely answer any questions about my year-end report, but we included it into this. So,
Yeah. So, sorry, this is just a typo.
sure.
On year-to-date youth revenue, it says summer fun shing. It should be summer fun shine.
On youth revenue?
Yeah, year-to-date youth revenue.
Yes. Okay.
Just very, very minor. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. So now let's go to C3, receive the Aquatic Center's fourth quarter.
Before I start with the PowerPoint, did anyone have any questions on the end of year report? No. I do want to point out Chief Vladimir, he did a reel with us on Ashley's presentation with the firehouse. Went up to Chief, said, Chief, you want to do a reel? He said, absolutely. He did it in one take. His son and daughter came up to me. Did my dad do a reel? I was like, yes, he did. Do you want to see it? They're, yes. He was a hero that day to his young kids. So go out and dance and you will be a hero as well. Okay, so we can do the Aquatic Center. We are at the Margaret Young Auditorium. We have Margaret right with us today. Rock Pond Water Park, which is our seasonal water park, and select special events that we have. This is our new coordinator, Cassie. She did a fantastic job. She was promoted in, I want to say, April or March as coordinator, and this has hit the ground running, done a fantastic job. This is a photo of her doing one of our lifeguarding classes. As you guys remember from over the past couple of months, American Red Cross rolled out their update, and I highlighted what we did in our packet, but this is one of the photos that we did to highlight on social media for hiring and training. Okay, so what was our goals? Our goals was increase Aquatics membership by 10%, identify and develop membership campaigns, increase resident membership. So we were targeting ages residents 62 and older. We knew that the branch connection was going to be under renovation. We knew the classic membership was coming on board, and we were following council's guide during that time to really increase members or target senior residents in our area. So that was one of our goals. Provide services in the most efficient and effective manner. That was the internal process that we really wanted to work on. Really wanted to focus on swim lessons process to make sure they are signed up for the right class, and also rental procedures as well. This is Camila. She's one of our aquatics leaders. She did go to the firehouse. They're highlighting Santa and Friends on the Move, which I'll go over a little bit later. These guys, I did not know this. I emailed our fire department, say, hey, can we come to your fire department to do reels? Absolutely. They said yes. They showed up. Said, hey, we're going to record reels. We're like, huh? What? But they did very well with it. And so Camila was able to put on the uniform. Was very heavy, but she had a good time there. All right, so what a year. What did we do? So again, we won Aquatics International Best of Aquatics Training. That is a national award, so we were recognized with them. If you want to read our lovely magazine, it is in our new lobby area. We also won the Texas Public Pool Council Agency of the Year, class number 3. Class 3 is based on the size of your city, and we are following class 3. We taught over 955 individuals. We're taught in our swim lesson program. We had 4,462 individuals in our fitness program. This year we did a river walking class. June was not nice to us. The weather was not nice. It was very cold, especially in the morning. So it didn't do as well in the early parts of the summer because of the weather. Then we had 106 individuals taught. We're taught a valuable life skill in American Red Cross program. That's not only kids that were working for us, but also got other jobs around the DFW area. And then this is a summer photo of kids having fun. Other achievements. So with the highlighting of the 62 plus, we brought the Splash Pass, which allows seniors 62 and older, if they qualify for certain memberships, to attend fitness classes. It's 8 punches to attend any of the classes in the morning. That has been a huge hit. Cassie has done a fantastic job, and so has Haley as well, with our swim lesson reward system. We remodified our report cards. Also, we give out goodie bags on select months. So we'll do like Christmas, Halloween, February, and around Easter, they'll get a little goodie bag with ducks, schools, and we also do in August back to school supplies. So basically, Cassie did a fantastic job with that, and the kids love it. Internal enhancements, that's really went well. So we use what's called ActiveNet as our registration system. We were able to establish prerequisites for swim lessons. So parents can go on there and sign their kid up for the wrong lesson. They had to follow guidelines, and that limited them on picking or signing their kid up for wrong classes. We did have a couple of hiccups in the spring when we rolled it out, but it really smoothed out in the summer. It has continued into the fall. We did some preventative maintenance at our indoor facility. We worked on our HVAC system during the Thanksgiving break last year. Then we also worked on some frog pond enhancements. We repainted the bucket and prevented slide maintenance. I spoke at local and national conferences this past year. Then we had additional staff training. We brought in finance to talk to our staff about budget and applying for credit cards and for school. Then we also brought in Scott with IT. He talked about cybersecurity and protecting yourself online. Our staffing levels, we were 100% hired by the first week of June for our seasonal staff. And another internal enhancement that we did was working on onboarding, revamping our onboarding for head guard, lifeguards, front desk, and cashiers. All right, so what else do we do? So my favorite event is Spooky Pooch. I love dogs. This is I think this was actually taken by one of our photographer. She was taking a selfie with her dog in a bumblebee. So we turned a dog park, or Barneywood Park, into a concert. We had a stage. They were able to play music. We did have vendors out front in the parking lot, and we sold food and alcohol. Our letters to Santa continued to enhance. We did very well. I think we ended up like 65 this fiscal year. We did Santa and Friends on the Move. We revamped it a little bit. That year we ended at Malin Park. We had more people waiting on the side of the road to wait to see us. So shout out to Brian and IT. He's the man behind it, which you'll see a photo of him. He's the one that comes up with the route and be able to highlight it so staff or the public can see it. And if you are lucky enough to come visit us, you can buy your own very shirt. Santa Friends on the Move. Since you are all my favorite park board members, you get 5% off. Actually, one of the requests that we had for this year was please sell the Spooky Boot shirts. So we had those available in our new lobby area. Customer service, our NPS rating has our numbers in the packet. You'll see that we are pretty high for consistently all year round. All right, some memorable moments. Up here on the top left is our swim lesson. Like I said, we revamped our report cards. These kids took our morning swim lessons and they got their lessons. This is Daisy. She was a first year lifeguard. She is with one of our junior guards. The junior guards shadow them. We did 2 classes. Both were filled out. They receive a t-shirt, fanny pack, and they get their own special rescue tube. And the lifeguards love having them there. If you went to any special event, you probably saw this young man. His name is Andrew. He goes to SMU. He does a fantastic job. He was one of our lifeguards, and he actually taught the junior guard and taught a lot of swim lessons. We were tasked early on in the spring of working Hoya. This is right here, Diego and Marlene. They worked at Hoya to help with crowd control. Love this. This is one of the, my favorite photos from Spooky Pooch. It highlights the atmosphere that we were going for, that I was going for. Reminding me of my dog staring at me while I eat food. And who does not love a dog in a pumpkin costume? This is Brian. He's from IT. He would, like I said, develop the app the system, be able to track where Santa goes. If you have your phone, you can highlight or scan the QR code. That will take you to our Instagram page right there. All right, looking ahead, what do we want to do in 2025? We want to target marketing strategies for Aqua Fitness class, increase attendance on that. We really want to improve our evening classes, especially on Monday, Wednesday. We want to improve overall and target community engagement. We are tasked with collaborating with the school district, so we have ideas already in plan for spring and going into the fall next year. Increase overall experience to meet diverse needs of the community. One thing we really, I guess would be negative was this past summer with the frog pond. We did have a lot of rentals, which took up space. So other people that went there had very little seating. So we're revamping our rental system and what we offer. We want to increase lesson or learn to swim lesson attendance by targeting marketing strategies. We want to be very specific on what classes we offer. Stay tuned and you will hear those numbers next month in Q1 report. Any questions?
First of all, thank you very much, and congratulations on the award. Also, congratulations on the high numbers too. I actually do have just a couple questions from the report.
Yes.
But thank you. First of all, it's the page that has POS on it. I'm sorry, the page is not numbered, but it's the one that has the POS thing in the middle. The next to the last paragraph, it talks about the concession stand.
Yes.
There's a total of $13,408 of paid to the aquatic center. Alcohol was available for the public to purchase during open swim hours at Frog Pond for the second year in a row. So my question was, and I think I asked this question last time, what's the breakdown of the revenue that comes from the concession stand that is driven by alcohol? Just curious.
So I got that number. I don't have it right in front of me. I'll be able to send that to Jessica for you.
Okay.
If you look at the next, it's a new request for proposal will be sent out, and that was submitted with that, and it has a breakdown of what your question that you're asking.
Okay.
I don't have that in front of me, but I know it's for the past 2 years he did break it down for me. I did ask that question.
No worries, just, and I don't want to create a burden for you, but just, that would be helpful as we move forward, just to include the breakdown.
Okay.
And then the other thing is, this is just a minor typo. You look at the paragraph above that. It says revenue from other or point of sale, including concessions, merchandise, and we're either missing a word or the word "and" needs to come out of there.
You are correct.
So, okay, for next time. And then the next question, and I'm embarrassed because I'm sure everybody else on this board knows this, but I didn't. Margaret Young, I did not know that the national was going to be. So now I know, and I'm honored. I'm honored to be with you, I'm honored by your presence. Everybody else knew that, but I didn't know. Wow. It's the Nat George name for her. So anyway. I think that's it. Does anybody else have anything else?
I would just like to make a comment. I don't remember the exact number, but in a previous presentation, you had said that reservations that more people from outside of Farmers Branch rent the facility.
Correct.
Than residents. And so I'm glad that you are looking at what that crowd does to our residents. And affects their ability to use the school, the facilities and everything. So I'm glad that we're at least reviewing.
Yes. So yeah, we're revamping it. Like I said, we were tasked with revenue driven so that, but now this upcoming summer, we're going to focus really on enhancing the customer experience even more. So.
Anybody else have any questions or comments, Paul? No, thank you very much, Paul. Well done.
So we'll see you tomorrow purchase the shirts.
We'll be selling hot
You
toys.
gotta decide which one to get.
Okay, so moving on, we'll go now to agenda item number C4, receive Parks Division update.
We're gonna kind of tie the parks update and the, project deal kind of together.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and answer with the park stuff. All right, if y'all all haven't met her, she is our park planner.
Welcome back.
As far as updates on stuff in the parks, let y'all know, I don't remember if we discussed it last time, John Burke bathroom is finally finished. Just right. And it was open for a week or two and we had to shut it down because it was cold. Fortunately, but, it should be open back up. We're gonna kind of work this between the weather right now with these low temperatures in the 20s and stuff, and it continues to do it every night. And right now it's not, but we will be turning it on for one day and then turn around and turn it back down. So we kind of left it off this week. We did have a problem at Hoya, so we brought in some porta potties because people were concerned. It was still getting down to 30 degrees at night, but it was getting up to 40 and 50 degrees during the day. So we were accommodating with some porta potties out there and it's a hand washing station. So we're keeping it off until after next week, hopefully. Temperatures are supposed to drop to 20 degrees Saturday night, Sunday morning, and stay that possibly into the single digits later in the week. So we're very aware and trying to make everybody happy. In the last few, last time we met was November. I don't know if we discussed, we got Tomfield Road back up and planted and the irrigation system working from all the construction that was going on. They, replanted all the landscape down the medians. We still have some work on the ends that need to be done. We're gonna get that. Christmas that we put up is all down. And guys are starting to trim the perennials and mulching things for the winter months, get ready for spring. Josie Lane median, I don't know if y'all have seen it, down at Pike, there was an area that was open and we lost a lot of jasmine on that road as well. In front of the sign, we've replanted some sod right in front of the sign, made the flower bed a little bit bigger on that entrance monument sign. Hopefully mid-February, give or take, we're gonna fill that median in full of, some euonymus and things and then carry on down the road. David, you had some questions that I want to go ahead and answer for, that you asked Rob about, and it ties into the project, so that's why we're kind of here. The Rawhide deal, we'll discuss that with the project. Denton Drive, we'll discuss on the project. The Carrollton Farmers Branch deal, that should be ready, I believe it's February, March, that's still with the lawyers, so we're still trying to get all that worked out, hashed out. And the meeting that we were at, what was that, last night? When?
The board.
Yeah, board meeting last night. They're hoping by February to March, after we do the strategic planning, they'll have exactly where we need to be with the board members. Okay. To what's really expected. So hopefully that answers those questions and I'll turn it over to Tara.
Thank you, Mark.
Can I ask?
Yes, sir. Sorry?
What's really expected of board members?
Yeah, that kind of caught my attention.
It's where y'all are. It's some goals and expectations that the council's gonna work with as far as, so you're more prepared. And it's not just you, it's everybody, because the way that, when it was called.
Yeah, so let me try to decipher. So there was a meeting last night, and this meeting, I'm understanding, happens every 6 months. And the meeting last night was each one of the chairs of the various board meets with the mayor, and actually, last night, there were 3 council members there as well, not all 5, but 3 of the council members were there. And the feedback that I provided was, it wasn't really clear what was expected of that meeting. So for example, on December 10th, I had a chance to present on behalf of the board to the city council. And there were a couple other board chairs that did that as well. Well, one of the board chairs last night basically gave her presentation again. And so I was asking you, what was expected? Were you expecting me to come in and give the same one I gave on December 10th, like this other board member did? Or what's the expectation? And Terry Lynn said that the council's gonna get together and then come back so that they will let the board chairs know what they are expecting of those meetings. Now, I will share with you, this is the first meeting that I've been to, that particular meeting. And all the chairs were there. And just, I gave the feedback to everybody there, said just, we want to make sure that this is time well spent for everybody. And that it gives you what you're looking for and also gives the board members, board chairs, what they're supposed to do. So that's all it was. It's just, it's an
Okay,
effort
so
to
in
try
other
to.
words, it wasn't this board or planning and zoning board, it had more to do with the board meeting you went to than.
No, I'm sorry, I'm not communicating effectively. Last night was all the boards were there, every single board. On
Chair.
December the, all the board chairs, excuse me, all the board chairs. On December 10th, I think only 3, maybe 4 of the boards presented because they were on a rotation. So they don't do, so it's every meeting. So that particular night, December 10th, our board presented. There was 3 other, there was zoning board, the planning and zoning board. Anyway, there was 3 that were done. And so all the thing I was trying to say was, well, what is the expectation of this meeting? And let's try to make it as efficient for everybody so that we give the council what they want. And even Terry said, well, not all the council members are there. So, to me, it was first time I've ever been there. I said, it's very confusing to me. But Terry agreed. So let's just streamline it so everybody understands, because it's not really a good, sorry. It's not really good for everybody involved. In other words, what is the purpose of the meeting and how to make sure everybody understands clearly what's expected. And Terry said he would work on it. Terry, the mayor. said he would
But
work
both
on it.
things are board chairs.
Yeah.
Do you all still have a board chairs lunch
No,
periodic? Okay, this is in place of that. We used to do a lunch meeting with all the chairs.
Yeah.
Periodic.
right.
And,
No, now,
meet with council, whoever was able to be there from council.
yeah. So,
This
so,
is the
yeah,
new
I think you're, I talked to Bob about this. He said, yeah, that's what this is evolved to. And the next meeting is going to be July, it's going to be 5 o'clock. The meeting's at 5 o'clock over at City Hall.
Okay.
And, so it's just a matter of trying to make sure that the meetings in the future are efficient and serve the purpose for everybody and not duplicative. Even Omar came and talked to me afterwards and said, it's a good point. Why duplicate the meeting we had on December 10th?
100%. And that's what they're going to come up with, and I hope to have some answers by the end of February, first part of March. And that's, I was asked to relay that, so that way everybody understands how that.
What a day to be left with his notes.
I'm sorry.
I said, what a day to be left with his notes.
Yes. Yes.
And this may be what you're gonna talk about too, but I'll ask it because if I get over, I forget it, so I'll ask them. At our last meeting, we talked about Dutch Village. And there was gonna be a neighborhood meeting.
Yes, we're going to,
Oh,
that's going to be part of the project here.
Thank you, Mark.
Yes, sir. We're going to ask for a C 4 or 5 foot, that's what over here.
Oh, okay, yep, okay, thank you. And so that concludes C4. So now we'll go to C5, receive the Parks and Rec departmental project update. Thank you, Tara.
So the first, one that we're gonna start off with is Rawhide Park. It's not a trial, but a trail, rehab. So, it's the reconstruction of the Rawhide Trail, which, it is nearing completion. Right now, the trail has been installed. It's about, 0.65 miles. So less than a mile of this area section has been, redone. And so the trees have been, a question in being asked about, and about, 10 trees have been removed, but they will be replacing the trees with 3-inch caliper size, in those various locations around the park to, support the loss of the trees that were removed. So they will be installing trees. Trees and grass installation should be by, spring of 2020. This year, we should see those 3-inch, caliper trees installed. Anyone have any questions?
No, I used it a lot the last 2 weeks this summer and it was great. It's been great.
Did you have any questions, like about lighting or anything?
No, it's been great. It's all settling in too, so
To it.
it's not as like when it first, it was all upheaved, right? So people were walking on it before they were supposed to, but it's all settled in nicely.
Yes. Thank you. That feedback. Okay, so Dutch Village Playground replacement. So as you know, we started off in November for our public outreach initiative. We had a survey open for about approximately 40 days. And with that, we received 110 surveys, responses.
Wow.
So with that, we had about 50% were actual residents of that area that filled out the survey. And then we had other individuals that did use it. There was a couple of, like about 7 people out of those responses said they never used the park, but they did provide feedback. So majority of them did use it either a weekly, monthly, or annual basis. They did provide some feedback on just the structures as well, that they did like it. They were pretty much satisfied about it. Just asking for a little bit more things as far as making sure they're shading over the playground, and also other improvements as far as like lighting and such to add to the playground, to that part. So on February 4th, we'll be presenting this to city council with the results and also the funding portion of it as well.
Just out of curiosity, and I'm sorry to interrupt, was there any negative feedback from the residents?
It was not negative as far as it was more so coming from a place that we want the park there to improve it, as far as like more lighting, or not as far as like if there's individual, like if there's vandalism or anything in it. As far as thinking that way, it was, but it wasn't like, no, don't do this, but yes, replace it. Maybe one person asked that if they can add a deck that swings, which and that was one person out of all that, but it was nice to hear that that's what they want, but they were pretty much overall satisfied with what was going back into the park.
And I guess my curiosity is, with the initial negative, FOIA, whether that's affecting other neighborhoods saying we don't want that traffic and those kind of, with
No.
that volume of people.
Actually, that wasn't, yeah, that's not what, I recall when reviewing the survey. So it was mostly like shading, lighting, basketball. The playground was the number one response that they, wanted back into the park. The basketball court was actually last, so they were interested in open space. I'm sorry, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what was in there, but it was pretty much overall, not negative. Cause I've seen some comments beforehand in other projects that were like, okay, but no, this was actually pretty pleasant, yeah. So,
They come pretty much the way a lot of it was. They were fine with the playground. A couple of the ones that I remember too, it was fine with the playground. They kind of talked about maybe the color there was only one about the color of the playground, piece of equipment. But they were quite a bit open space. And there was just one basketball. I think there was 1 or 2 pickleball, or no?
I think there was about one pickleball and maybe one water feature in there.
Yes, there was one water feature, and that's the one we've been kind of going back and forth, because it was brought up by council about possibly a water table. So we've been doing a lot of research on that, possibly another feature we might try to add. But we're still not seeing a really commercial style versus a residential in your backyard type. So we're doing a lot of research, going back and forth with a couple of different vendors to see what we have that's more of a durable public use.
Define water table.
The water table would be more, there's 2 ways to do it. There's one company that has these big, like, discs and they're on shelves, on arm. So you got water up here, then you're able to get water, and you got sand here. So you're able to make like sand castles in there. If it's wet or whatever, the kids shove it out. Okay. And they are able to get new sand. So it's more or less like kind of like, depending on the style that you get, it's a sandbox with a water table. Okay. And they call it a water table because you have access to a little bit of water and you have access to sand. And you're able to build sculptures or whatever, sand castles on the still. It's pretty interesting. I've been looking at them, and There's another one that's reminds you of like your gold mining or whatever. It's like a sluice box where it goes down and does all this stuff, but then those are. We have to be able to fit it in there to where it fits in, because there's some issues where, say, if we're doing the PIP, the pit, that the sand, you can't have it interfere with it, because then you start having an area, because it will compact and not allow to have the buoyancy it's supposed to have. But it would have to be where it sets off to the side, away from the playground, which kind of defeats the purpose, but you don't want that material, them taking that material and bringing it on the pit to try to play by the pit.
So I've seen a water table that was strictly just water and, it was in Indianapolis at the Children's Museum. And they had boats available and you could
Yes.
sell your boat. And I mean, it was like a track, but it was made out of water.
Mhm.
And
Hey.
so there's there's a lot of different things. I hadn't seen the sand one. I've only seen water.
Let's try and figure it out.
I've seen one that actually was, a fluid dynamic engineering base, so kids could play with the screw to move the water and the sluices, and they could move it all. And these kids were so engaged with that, you know, it took up a bit of real estate
Mhm.
to get everything needed.
There's some that and again, we're still kind of doing a little bit of research on that. We're good with the playground. And that's what we're going with, but we're gonna try to fit in this feature if it's doable, but trying to find the one that would really fit there in that area, because if you start doing major water feature, then you start having a wet area, if it's not done more like a splash pad. If you do sand area, then it's got to be away from when I say pit, if y'all don't know what that is, that's the floor in place rubber. Okay, and there's air pockets that are all through it, and you don't want that to feel full of sand or anything like that, because then it doesn't have the bounce that it should have. So that's what we're trying to work on and get that part hashed out.
Thank you.
Sorry, Carl.
Anybody have any other
And
questions?
forgive me, I'm sorry. So this is all talking about Dutch Village.
Yes.
And so forgive me, did the feedback from the constituents is the one that made us think we want to do this water park, or how did the water park become part of the component?
It's not a water park.
I'm sorry, water
It's
table.
water table.
Sorry.
Yes. It was a question that was brought up on ideas of other things that would like to come in the park.
Okay. So it came from the constituents and we saw that, and as a result of that, we are exploring possibly doing a water table in addition to what you guys reviewed with us previously as far as ideas for the playground.
Yes, and around that way, yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm just trying to catch up. Understand what we're talking about. Thank you.
No, you're good.
Anybody else? Any other comments?
I love that y'all did the survey.
Yes, absolutely. Very good. And I'm glad that we heard something in the survey and then now we're trying to act too. That wasn't part of the original plan. That's good.
Yes.
Good thing. Anything else?
That's it for Dutch Village, and then we have one more.
Okay.
This one is for Denton Road construction drive, construction. And so they are in their phase 2 starting now. And this is anticipated to begin, in 2025. And be completed by 2026, but it is installment of trails, trees and such on Denton Drive. And it's about less than a mile of trail that they'll be installing.
Close when we come to Liberty Plaza. The,
The trail,
Yeah.
yeah,
it's gonna run right from the opposite side of the street.
okay.
So this whole master plan thing that's supposed to take place here, they're gonna connect west side of town trail to the east side of 35. So somewhere in here, I have not seen the plan totally, but there's a trail that's supposed to run along under 35 here, it ties in. And it's Farmers Branch Lane, it's supposed to utilize here. That'll come down, Denton Road. There'll be a narrower sidewalk here, but over here on the, Grove side, it'll be more of like, I believe she said it was a 10 or 12 foot wide trail, where over on the west side, along the Star Center and Liberty Plaza, would be more of like a 6 foot, 8 foot wide. So the actual true trail kind of run through here, come along, cross, and then it picks up and it'll run all the way down here. And then somehow, I don't know if it turns and they're gonna utilize the road that we already have here through there, or if it goes in and comes on down and ties in. It goes this, and where it ties into come in, and I believe it ties into this pathway that comes right along here that comes off into the park, and you're able to utilize going around Gussie and everything else. But as they're finishing up one phase, they're supposed to start the third phase of doing the trail at the same time. As they're finishing, they're supposed to continue doing the rest of it. Now, when they start this phase, I'm not 100% sure just yet.
Thank you. Anything else?
That is it. Just to let you know, the project map, on the city dashboard is available to look at different projects that we have going on. So it's been updated, so if you had a chance, to take a look at the project, a majority of the projects that we kind of went through are on that page as well.
I have a question about, it's a little different than long didn't drive there. From the time that y'all spent down there, do you think we'll be able to get back to our Christmas? I mean, know what we'll call it.
Christmas in the park
Christmas in the
or the
park.
Christmas drive-through?
It's Christmas in the park. It's the one with the ice skate.
Depending on, that's gonna be the dilemma there. I wish I'd had that with me.
Will that be ready for?
I can't guarantee you that. I did have last November when we were here, in case it was brought up. I don't have it with me today, but it had to do with the ice skating ring, because we had figures and everything that were questioned on us on the different types that they have, whether it was a non-water, whether it was water, and the different types. I don't have that information with me right now. The actual Christmas event that used to go on here at this point in time, I don't know if we're eventually gonna try to move it back here. There's been some concerns, due to all the traffic that's gonna be coming through there now. How it's gonna, they've still got a building that they're gonna be building. Let's see here, we've got the new building that's here. This whole area right here coming over to here, because they closed this road. There's still an apartment complex or something that is going there that's gonna take up space. And then they have parking and everything else they have to contend with. I don't know what they have for the future. For this coming next year. I don't know if we're going to move it back where it originally was at City Hall. Or if it's gonna be back at Historical Park. Special events, we can have them here next time. Possibly to go ahead and let them answer some of that. And Jessica, since that's her team, she'll be able to answer that a lot better than what I can. We want the Christmas event to go. The best one I used to like was when it was at City Hall. And we did the drive-through with it, but when dark came in, that kind of messed it up with the way people have to enter and exit. So it kind of, and now you have a lot more things at the Historical Park. You just can't close it for it.
Well, and to tie into that, last Sunday, I don't know what they were doing at the new sports complex, because I know tomorrow's supposed to be sort of the They've been opening. having tournaments each weekend.
Well, at 1 o'clock last Sunday, there was nowhere to park in the DART station, along the road, or over at their building, except I did find one parking place. But people were parking on the grass, they were parking, there were signs to go over by City Hall, so that's something that would have to seriously be discussed, I think, if we're talking about putting any kind of an event over that way.
That has been brought to their attention and they're trying to get a lot of this resolved right now. Looking at some temporary parking to try to figure out how to get this going before solve some of these issues. Because build it and they will come and they have came. They're, but they need, we've got to get it figured out with the parking issue, but they're working on that.
Okay, good. Just on the record, it's not just the parking, it's the constriction on Benton Drive is exacerbated by the lack of parking.
Sounds like we're going back there,
I don't believe we will.
which is good. It gives the security figure out.
When we did have it there, we closed down Denton Drive. Okay? And there's a way to close down Denton Drive the way that we used to close it, to be able to put it on. Okay? And it would not affect anybody there because they would still have access, one or two ways to get in. They just wouldn't be able to go past Farmers Branch Lane. And it worked fine doing that. It's just a lot of staff to have to use to get everything closed, get everything torn down in one night. There's no fence really to lock our things up. So what goes up, we hire security. And that night, for the day before, because it takes a couple of days to set up. But that night, it's all got to be taken down. And it's all got to be put up. So it's a lot of manpower versus when you're at the historical park. You've got it in a fenced-in area. And you only have the stuff that you have on the road. So that's where that intertwines. But like I said, Jessica will be able to answer, or she'll have her staff here with special events to try to figure out what they're doing. They're already working, they're always working on ways to figure something out with the special events.
They'll be doing their end of the year report next month for all
Yes.
of you, so those questions can be answered then.
They were gonna be here as well, but they're at the board's meeting, the other board meeting, planning the other event, the
Gateway to the Globe event.
Gateway to the Globe event, working with that new committee.
Thank you,
Well,
Tom.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so moving on, agenda item number C6, receive an update from board members on parks, programs, events, or facilities attended in the city of Farmers Branch. Anybody have any input for that?
Yeah, I attended Police Navidad. I loved it. It was great. It was really cute. I don't have a dog, but it was fun. I walk around the rec center all the time, so I'd walk a lap and then go pet the dogs and walk a lap, pet the dogs. So that was
I'll
fun.
let my team thank you.
Oh, it was awesome. I bought from the vendors too, because I have a little nephew puppy, so I bought the little advent calendar of treats. And then I walked Rawhide Trail for about 2 weeks there when I was off, so that was nice, but that was later. And we hit the Rose Garden, and the new fence at Hoyle looks amazing. I really was skeptical about how that would go in retroactively, and it is seamless and amazing.
Thank you. And it's got just a few more little things that need to be done with it, but it's pretty much 99.9% complete.
It looks awesome. I think it actually looks like it was meant to be there. So,
I've been by there in a while, but what a fast.
Thank you for the compassion.
because remember I had brought up concerns about the trail and the walking, and my husband and I spent 2 weeks walking Farmers Branch, and it was all still connected. So,
I know that there's been a little bit of concern with some residents and stuff about how wide the trail's going on Rawhide. But I think unfortunately, it's became a very hot area to travel.
Yeah.
And the amount of use that people are using, we kind of needed to start getting it a little larger this time. So each year, they're gonna try to work on doing a certain phase to bring that thing to where eventually it has a full, I guess, 12 foot now? 12 foot wide sidewalk. They're going it was 8, and they're going to 12 foot total.
The whole 2 miles.
Whole thing. Yes. Good thing is they were able to get it out of a lot of the floodplain areas. Unfortunately, there's one area where when I should have zigged, I zagged. And they had to build it up a little bit more. They didn't take it the way they should have, so we're gonna have to put a concrete little spillway kind of thing because we're losing some of the gabion along the middle, between Webb Chapel and Longmead on the Rawhide side. We're starting to lose the way the first dam is closer to the library. We're starting to lose some of that gabion, and we're working with streets. They have a new stormwater gentleman that's working with them now that he's looking at all this, doing the studies and things, and we've got to start taking care of some of that. We've got another little walkable bridge down between Tomfield and what is that street cuts down through there? Wilmington. It's right there where, between Josie and, Tom Field. There's a little walkover, like little spillway deal that you can walk across. Unfortunately, it's eroded all the way under the sidewalk and it's just kind of like a hollow dam that you walk over. So we shut that down for the last couple of months. They get a contractor in there to fix up that because it's washed away. It's hasn't totally washed away. It's just hollow under the concrete.
I think people are still walking over there.
Where we have the temporary fence. up?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you
I
just
saw
can't
someone
fix.
go around it with their dog.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes you just can't fix it and you put the fence up, people still climb over, you know, they put tape up, do not enter.
It wasn't a large pool.
Okay. They look like bulldogs.
Oh, okay. So otherwise.
It's after hours.
Maybe a picture of a little.
It's after 5 o'clock, they don't know.
That's right.
They don't know.
They're not here, they're not gonna know.
Yeah, I greatly enjoyed Farmers Branch the last 2 weeks. So that's okay.
Does anybody else have any other feedback or anything else they want to report out on? I know I'm speaking to a lot of people, I'm disappointed that thing got rained out, and we were there at the
Yeah.
gazebo. I actually got to the gazebo and then Robert said, oh, it's canceled. Oh, okay. But that was a shame because it was gonna be that's a great event.
I have fun, that's fun to do.
Yeah, but cold and wet and just wouldn't have been.
Two events got Halloween and Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, it'll make you feel
Yeah,
better.
Halloween
One year we
next year,
did the drive-through in that weather.
Yes, we did.
We were there
It
for
wasn't.
5 days in the rain and the cold. and-
Last year before Halloween was in. This year was the first, because last year was.
So, anybody else?
I will make a comment for y'all, that if y'all don't know, our staff in the field, they do a real good job as best that they can. They did one heck of a job last week and over the weekend, doing 12-hour shifts, making sure that city buildings even though they ended up being closed, but they were ready to be opened actually Friday afternoon. As far as getting all the snow and all the ice off sidewalks and making it being prepared, ready to go for Saturday for when it opens. They don't just do these buildings here, they do the fire stations, they do the police stations, they do City Hall, and they try to keep everything prepared. We tried a new way this year that had to do with spraying brine down. So we used one of our chemical sprayers, which is called a Z sprayer. And we were able to shoot brine down on a lot of our sidewalks. And the little ditch witch deal that we were able to buy this past budget year, we finally got. We bought a broom attachment for it. And you're able to articulate it almost like a snowplow. That thing, you turn it on, get it rotating, it blows that snow 8 feet out of your way. You just keep on trucking. It's small enough, we can do sidewalks. So it worked so impressively of the 30-something years of me using a shovel out there trying to get the sidewalks clean. This was amazing. I don't know if it was the brine that helped out so much that kept from attaching to the concrete. But we're looking into buying that piece, another implement like that for our Bobcat. So we can actually less manpower in those wee hours of the morning trying to get things clear so that we're able to use that to get things cleared. And, you know, every storm is different, whether it's ice, snow, or whatever, and how cold it is and how quick it freezes to the concrete. So, but the guys did an excellent job, and it was a very proud moment for all of us.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
Yes.
Anybody else? Any other comments? So, just real quickly, so I got a chance to present to the city council on December 10th. And it was just our year review. It was prepared by the staff. Staff did a fantastic job and presented. So after I did that, I was approached by a citizen who lives in Farmers Branch. I spent 2.5 hours with that citizen and this citizen had a lot of feedback on a lot of things to do with the Parks and Rec Department, but also things outside of that. So I very diligently captured all the different points this person made. And I've got it all in one email. I shared that email with Robert. And then I also shared it with Tina because this particular citizen lives in Tina's district. And I'm almost at the point where I can go now back to the citizen because I'm waiting on a couple of things that are outside of the Parks and Rec. And then I'll do that. And as far as I'm concerned, then that would be closure of that item. So the citizen had some good ideas on things, possibly improvements to not just Parks and Rec, but other parts of the city as well. So I just want to let everybody know that. So, yes.
I do have a question about your presentation. Did any of the council members ask you any questions?
There were some, well, first of all, Robert was right there. And so any of the questions, and Robert could answer the questions.
Okay.
But one of the things too that Omar came up with was, so represents the very west part. And his question was, what can be done? Because we have great facilities. This city has fantastic facilities. But his point was a good one, which is what can we do to try to engage people who live way on that western side of Farmers Branch to want to come all the way over here to partake of all the different amenities. And I'm not sure there was a simple answer to that question, but I thought it was a good question it was raised. So that's kind of a thing to get back to. What can be done? Now, of course, Mercer Park is going to be open once that gets done.
I was gonna say, because that's part of what he represents, person.
Yep, exactly.
I think as the things that have been working on for years.
I will say, I'll throw that in there as well. We did start, we had a contractor start out there this weekend doing the irrigation on phase one around the pathways so we can get some grass down to keep it from eroding. The other things that are going on out there, we're working with TMP right now as far as getting a plan together, which we go to council to get the approval to go ahead and have them going with the designing aspect of, and we can start doing what we need to do to start bringing in and getting the rest of the park built.
And one thing I think Robert and I talked about it afterwards was an idea, once Mercer is open, to do some kind of a grand opening to really get the people that live out in that west end really excited about, hey, this is what's happening here, just to engage that particular part of Farmers Branch.
Because they've been promised this park years from the developer. And even though it's the developer that's held up the process, they still look at the city and when is the city gonna come and put in, all these amenities that the developer sold them on when they bought them.
But initially, the city was not going to have that park over there. That was going to be a private park. So if the complaint is against the city,
No, their complaint really is against the developer, that they were promised all this and nothing.
So the other thing, Steve, to your question about feedback from the presentation to council on December 10th, you'll be glad to know that we actually pointed out the fact that we finally got the medians taken care of over your HOA. And that we also talked, we didn't mention you by name, we talked about the fact that one of the board members just lives in that area and was glad that that particular issue was taken care of. So I can't think of anything else.
Of course, we had to say 25,000. Had to get the city, we had to get the city $25,000.
But everybody's happy. All that matters, is everybody's happy. Any other comments about that? Okay, now let's go to section C7, discuss potential agenda items for future meetings. I think I screwed up earlier when I talked about this question I had on the notes. Maybe we could put that into the meetings. And Jessica is here now. So there was a comment here. Jessica Alvarado commented that the future city council wants to form a committee to audit the Parks and Recreation events to see if the community wants them continued. And I was just wanting, for a future item, let's talk more about that. I'd like to learn more about what that is, who's on this committee, what's the audit process going to be, just like to gain a better understanding of that. I don't know if you want to comment about that now.
Yeah, so there's nothing right now. The council hasn't started those discussions.
Okay.
So it sounds like they're wanting to complete the current Gateway to the Globe subcommittee, which is where I just came from right now. They want to complete that. That event is set for the end of March 29th. And then once that's completed, then they want to kind of get it on the table and talk amongst them to see how they can form some type of a group to audit the event.
Okay.
So there's been no direction. There hasn't even been discussion from the council yet. So I assume once there's some discussion and probably take a couple of study sessions, then we can bring that back to the board and kind of give them the direction that we think we may be heading in.
Good, Jessica, thank you. Anybody else? Anything else you'd like for a future?
I'd like to put community garden on there because I know they're talking, y'all are having a meeting, right, Barbara? Saturday.
So add that. The future meeting. Anybody else? If not, does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
I like the motion.
Okay, anyone second? All those in favor say aye. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Something I think. I know it's coming from more than once. And some of it's selling